What is going on, everyone? Give it thought here. Today we're going to have a quick look at Am Setsuna. Keep in mind that this is not a full review, that will be coming later. This video just comprises the first thoughts I had about the game on the first day of its release. Alright, let's get into it. The first thing you will probably notice about this game are its gorgeous hand-painted visuals. Initially, this is what drove me to this game, besides the fact that it is a JRPG in classic form. In the first few seconds, you can't help but notice the snow. You see it falling in front of you, and as you move through it, it moves to the side. That is a really nice touch that goes a long way for me. That kind of thing shows you right off the bat the kind of detail that went into this game. The tutorial is quick and informative, and I understand nowadays most people don't like them, but when games don't have them, I feel at a disadvantage personally, so I like quick, short ones. And this one had just that. One thing I wanted to point out was the character portrait for the player. It really sets an intimidating tone for the player character, but beyond that, there's really no characterization for him, so far at least. The next thing I have to point out to you is the piano score for the game. I will go into more detail in my full review about it, but this is the best score I've heard in a while. It really sets the tone for the entire game and keeps a constant theme throughout, something I find invaluable. And keep in mind, I'm not even a big video game music guy. It's not something I really take notice of, but here it is impossible not to appreciate the ambience the music grants this game. I'm only a few hours in, but what I've encountered of the story is pretty good. The player character is a mercenary who has been hired to go find Setsuna. Setsuna is a girl that is supposed to be sacrificed in this village to appease the monsters, basically to stop them from attacking the village. The player character finds her and decides not to kill her. The village is then subsequently attacked and you save the village basically, which grants you Setsuna's favor. You then are tasked on protecting her throughout her sacrificial journey. The main plot for me is very similar to Final Fantasy X. You sort of do the same thing for Yuna as Titus, or Titus, however you pronounce it, except you don't know the journey is sacrificial in Final Fantasy X. Not at first, at least. A few other things that I've noticed so far are the few save points. For me, there should be a save point in the villages, but there's not that I know of. Maybe I haven't seen something, but unless you're in a dungeon really, there are no save points. It's not really a problem with the rest mode on the PlayStation 4, but if you want to turn your system completely off, you have to be in a dungeon, which I can imagine being an inconvenience for some people. The combat system is very reminiscent of Chrono Trigger. This was promised up front with this game, and the active battle system has not lost its touch a bit. I love it. The combos you can set up, the way it makes you think on your feet, it's really great in every way for a turn-based JRPG. And it reminds me of why Chrono Trigger is so revered in the first place. Another thing that is cool about the battle system is that on just normal attacks, if your enemies are in a row, you can hit all of them with one swing of your sword or throw of your shuriken. That damage really adds up in tough fights, and I imagine it only gets better as the game goes on. One thing I do miss though is a defend button. On a certain boss, to be able to defend your healer would have come in really handy, but you kind of have to sit there and take the damage just to heal it off the next turn. A defend button would really mitigate that problem, and it would add a second layer of strategy. The way the characters interact with each other in this game also reminds me of Chrono Trigger. Even though the dialogue is a bit stilted at times, you get the sense that this group will come to care about each other, even more than they already do. As far as the characters individually, they are pretty good. My favorite so far is Nidir. He apparently accompanied the last sacrifice, not unlike Final Fantasy X's Auron, but he failed in his mission, and is now dealing with the fallout that caused the world. He may be my favorite only because I'm just a few hours into the game and I haven't seen many other characters or heard about the characters I do know's backstory. But I really like his personality, and his character art is really good as well. And that's about all the info I have on the game so far. As I said earlier, a full review will be coming sometime, probably Monday because it'll take me a while to get a script together. If you enjoyed this video, please click the annotation up there to subscribe, especially if you want to have a leg up on that full review coming. Also, check out the last video I did about Dragon Quest XI and what the plot will be. I predicted time travel, so check that video out to see the full details of that. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Alright, that's it everyone. Thanks for watching, and remember, give thought to everything.